Hey guys, it's sourdough day. It's the day after Thanksgiving and we're down to our last loaf. Here is what we're trying to get to. This beautiful loaf of sourdough. Got a nice little ear there, nice spread, and good shoulders on the sides. That's what you want. We'll get into that later. The things you'll need, most important of all, the starter. I took this starter out last night. It's about 35 degrees here right now, and the thermostat sets back at night. So this is gonna grow real slowly overnight, but you can see it's got lots of good air bubbles in it. It's basically tripled in size. If you look inside, you can see it's got the right consistency. And when you put the smell test on it, it smells like a little bit like dairy. It doesn't stink or anything like that. So that's what you want for your starter. If the starter doesn't do that, don't even waste your time. The bread won't rise, and I've done plenty of those. So we'll get into that a little bit later. You need a scale. These are like 10 bucks on Amazon that goes into grams. Salt, I use sea salt. Make sure you read on the back that it's 100% sea salt. Bread flour, I also use a teeny bit of whole wheat flour, just like a splash. Supposedly it has good minerals and things like that that help the bread develop. I've got this down to one bowl, big bowl. Cleanup is critical. The less you have to clean up, the better. You need a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon, preferably this one. You need a bottle of Chardonnay, preferably this one. I don't know why, but the bread will not rise without these in close proximity to the bread. Can't explain that. And of course, anytime you're drinking Chardonnay, you're gonna need protective glasses. Maybe even hearing protection. We'll get to that later. Okay, so with that said, let's get into making the dough. So now it's time to make the actual dough. And the first thing you have to have is a recipe. I kind of use as a base 800 grams of flour, and it's a little bit of a mixture of a couple of flours, but you can do whatever you want. Just experiment. But it's 800 as the base, and then I split it into two dough balls and make two loaves of bread. So 800 flour, 480 water, 160 yeast, and 16 salt. These are all grams. So in my cup right here, you can see I've got 480. I always do the water first. So I'm gonna put the water in here. And this is something that I've learned really works well. I'm gonna zero this out. So now to go back to 0 grams. And I'm gonna put in the 160 of my starter. Get a knife. And I have to confess, I'm not always exact on the starter. If I get a little extra, I don't really worry about it. What you want to see when this starter goes in is you want it to float. And you can see how that's floating on the surface. That's a really good looking starter right there. See that? It's all floating. That's money right there. This loaf of bread's gonna be good. If the starter sinks to the bottom, it doesn't have any air in it, it's not gonna do what you wanna do. Okay, I got a little extra starter in there. I don't really care that much, and you can see I left some starter in here because that's the yeast we're gonna use. We're gonna feed it, and that's gonna give us our next batch of starter. The next thing I like to do is just sort of mix it in. And I learned this from, I think it was a German baker on the internet. But you can see, if you want to come get a shot of this, I'm just stirring it around and just getting it basically assimilated into this liquid. All right. Now we want to get our 800, zero it again. We want to get to 800 on flour. So the first thing I do, I take a little bit of whole wheat, not much. I mean, this is not exact, just a handful, like 20 grams or something like that. And then I like to take a little bit of all-purpose. I usually take it to 150 on the scale. Look at that. Perfect pump. And then we're going to take the bread flour and and go to 800, and I do want to be as close as I can and not screw this up. There it is. All right. So now we've got the yeast, the water, 3 types of flour. Take it off of this. And I'm just gonna stir it with this knife. And you might want to get this from the top. It's just gonna be kind of a shaggy mess, they call it. I stir in the middle and it just grabs everything from the outside. It's good if you can make some spill over the side. And all I'm trying to do is just mix it together. It's not going to look like dough. I'm just trying to spread it all over the place. All right, we're set. And I'm going to leave this for 30 minutes. It's now 9:30. Perfect. It's always good to do it on the half hour. So for the next 2 hours, we're going to stretch this dough every 30 minutes. So 9:30, 10:30. So at 11:30, we'll be done with this phase. This apparently is called autolyse, and this is where you're just letting the flour and the water just sort of absorb into each other. So 30 minutes of this, and then we're going to add the step that I always forget, and that's why I put the salt right next to the bowl, because I always forget to add the salt. So we'll see in 30 minutes. All right, so we're ready for the first stretch. I have pre-measured 16 grams of salt. I'm using Morton's sea salt. They offered me $1 million. $1 million to sponsor this, and I can't be bought. It can't happen. I'm not doing it. I've got standards. All right, here we go. 16 going in, just kind of sprinkle it across the top. Like that. And then, this is a great trick. The dough will stick all over your hands. Just get your hand wet a little bit and then put it in here and just start mixing that salt in. A little bit of water. That's that same reverse osmosis water. Just put a little bowl of it. For the first stretch, I'm not trying to do too much, but see, now it's starting to look like dough already. It's starting to stretch. Oh, I just spilled some. Starting to stretch a little bit. All right, I'm just gonna kind of put it in there, put the lid on it, hit it again in 30 minutes. While we're waiting for the dough, which is right here, to autolyse, we might as well feed the starter and put it back in the fridge so we can use it another day. So what I'm gonna do is put it on the scale, zero it. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, or just slightly less than 1-to-1. So I'm gonna put in 100 grams of flour. And again, you can really do whatever amount you want. Just know that you need about 100 to make the 800 gram loaf, or 2 loaves. So I'm at 85. All right, that's close enough. So I got 100 grams of flour. This water is reverse osmosis water. I forgot to mention, very critical in the dough, the chlorine will kind of beat the yeast up. You won't get as good of a rise. So this is 100 grams of flour, 100 grams of water, and then all I do, I'll show you on the camera, is just mix it up. Make sure it's good and scrape it off the sides. You want all that active yeast to get in there and have something to eat. And then all I do is put the lid on and throw it in the fridge. It'll last, it could last up to a month. You wouldn't want to make bread out of it. You'd want to feed it a couple times, but it'll still be alive. So throw it in the fridge and use it for another day. All right, one more stretch here. Now this is something I do a little bit different on. Wet my hand a little bit. Pull this out. Come on, baby. I like it when it puts up a fight like that. All right, here we go. I give it a pretty good little, like traditional, I never used to do this, but this is just like 10 seconds of really just working that thing. And then kind of pick it up and stretch it out a little bit. Look at it, it's starting to look like real dough. See you in 30 minutes. All right, and now we're rolling into the final stretch. You can kind of see what it looks like here. Put a little water on our hand. The dough should, see how much more it stretches now? That's how much stretch you should get on this last and final stretch. You can do one more if you want, two more if you want, it doesn't really matter. I guess the more you stretch it, the better, but this is how it looks. And now, my house is 70 degrees. There's a website called The Sourdough Journey. I recommend you go check it out. It talks about the temperature of your dough and how long it's gonna take for it to rise. We're gonna cold ferment this, so we're gonna stick it in the refrigerator overnight once it rises to a certain point. For me, a total of 6 hours usually is about right. But with the house, it's 35 outside, so it's 70 inside. Might take an extra hour, so around 7 seems to be the sweet spot. But basically, you just check on it from time to time. We got about another 4 or 5 hours to go, so just go do whatever you want. All right, we are now approaching the final stages. We've been gone all day, and well, not all day, but out doing our stuff. And if you want to come in here and take a quick peek at the dough, you can see it's probably increased about 40%. It jiggles a little bit. We're going to cold ferment this, so you don't want it to be fully proofed because it's going to proof some over in the fridge overnight. So I just got a plastic dough scraper here, and I'm going to scrape this out of here without deflating it too much. Just reach behind it. God, it smells good. This stuff is sticky. All right, and I'm just gonna, I think I have a better, voila, serious dough scraper. Try to cut it about in half. Doesn't have to be exact. Then you break it out like this, spread it into kind of a square without deflating it. Fold it over halfway. Tuck it together like this. This is just a preliminary shape. Look at all that air. See that? There's tons of air in this thing. Just trying to get surface tension here and get a preliminary shape going. Do the same thing with this one. A little bit of a square. Fold it over. After you've done this a bunch of times, stretch it out. You can do it pretty quickly. I don't have any flour on here on the counter because I want to use the counter to kind of stick it to the bottom as I roll it. And then we're going to wait about 15-20 minutes and we'll put them in the fridge. All right, so now we're going to do our final shape. It's been about 20 minutes. So we're going to take these off. Take this off. And do the same thing we did before, just pull them tight. There's also a technique I've seen where you can just scoop it under and spin it around like that. Look at these air bubbles coming out. That's prime time. That's what you want. Take this, put it in the banneton, whatever you call that thing, banneton. Pinch them a little bit together, put one of these on top, and it goes in the fridge. Cold ferment. Same thing with this one. This one. Just kind of tighten it up a little bit. Throw it in here. Pinch the bottom closed. I like to get a couple more nice little air pockets in there. Put this on like this and take them in. Oh, before I forget, we got offered another $1 million and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Refuse. All right, going in the fridge. We'll see you tomorrow. The dough has been overnight. It is now the next day, and I'm gonna pull the dough out of the fridge. Still in the banneton here. You're gonna take it out. This is a little piece of parchment paper. I'm gonna put it on the parchment. And this, do you want to get a quick shot of our recent harvest? That's just out of the garden 5 minutes ago. I'm just saying, that's looking pretty tight. This is a tool you'll have to get. It's just a few bucks on Amazon. This one was given to me by B. Gray. Thank you. So you gotta slice the bread so that when it expands, if you don't slice the bread and it expands, which it's gonna do, it starts shooting out the side and it looks terrible. So basically you wanna take this thing and dig it in pretty deep from the side, and without cutting your finger off, go all the way across. And then I usually do just a couple slices on the side to give some expansion on the side as well. Now, this is 450 convection. That is really hot. This is a great little, what do you call them, Dutch oven, made for bread. I take 3 ice cubes and I put them on the side that doesn't have the parchment. Put this back on. If you don't, it'll burn you. It's creating steam inside the pot so that it can rise. Steam is like a critical component. We're gonna go, so we're at 450 convect. Let that preheat. And then we're gonna go timer 20 minutes. And then we're gonna take the lid off, and then we're gonna go another 20 minutes with the lid off. And then it'll be done. So we'll check back in about 19 minutes. All right, so it's been 20 minutes, and we are now going to take the lid off and cook it for another 20 minutes. So I've turned off the timer, and all we're gonna do, come in here and get a good shot of this puppy. If this is a pancake, we're gonna delete this video. If this is a beautiful half-cooked sourdough, we're gonna leave it. Oh, look at that. That is gonna be pretty. And I think it's gonna rise even a little bit more than that once it cooks the next 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for another 20 minutes. But you wanna keep an eye on it. If your oven is hotter than mine, these ovens have a little bit of variation to them. It could burn, so you don't wanna just walk away for 20 minutes. You wanna check it at about 15. Sometimes in a different oven, I have to take it out at 15. So keep an eye on it, and we'll check back for the finished product. All right, as you can hear, the timer is going off. Turn this off, and this bread is looking really good. You can see how it's got that nice shiny brown top to it. I did not drench this with egg wash or water or anything. I mean, it's just the steam and everything. And to get it out of here, this is extremely hot. So I just use a spatula and pull it out. But she is looking great. Now, I have got my little pointer here. I've always wanted to use a pointer. What you really are looking for, this is high shoulders. This means that the yeast was very active. If it's flat and like kind of on an angle like that, that's not ideal. This is pretty ideal. This is called the ear, and you can see how the yeast just went crazy in there and exploded. I probably should have cut it a little deeper on this side. This blistering is really good too. It means that the dough was cold when you put it in, and that's like a really good sign that the bread's gonna be great. You can see the 2 little tick marks I made on this side and the 2 on this side. You can do designs or whatever you wanna do. Some people like to put like a little wheat plant on each side or whatever, but This looks like it's gonna be a really good loaf. So we're gonna let it sit for about 40 minutes. It's still gonna cook, very important. Everybody wants to dig in and eat it, but you're better off letting it cook. If you don't let it cook for 40 minutes, just sitting here, then around the edges of the crust, it tends to be a little spongy. So this is a critical part. So we're gonna come back in 40 minutes and we're gonna cut it open and take a look at the crumb. All right, so that's it. So we have the beautiful finished product. It's been cooling for about 40 minutes. It's got a nice sound on the bottom. We've even got a little crinkle action going right there. So this is a pretty cool little thing we got. This is revolutionary after cutting part of my finger off. Not with this, with the bread knife. This is what we've been using to slice them. When you slice, you want to go across the ear. You don't want to go this way, you want to go this way. So I'm going to crank up the machine. So this is a really good looking crumb. I mean, you can see lots of nice big air holes. It's cooked all the way to the top. It's really cooked all the way around. Nice hard shell, a little blistering, good ear. I mean, this is great. The only last thing is, these little bags off Amazon are great to store them in. If you're gonna put it in the bag while it's still warm, leave the bag open. Otherwise, you'll get condensation in the bag, and then it'll make the bread kind of wet. So for the first hour or two, just kind of leave it open like that and then seal it up. So that's it, guys. That's the process from start to finish. I hope you make some sourdough. It's supposed to be really good for you. Way better than store-bought. There's no preservatives. You can eat this like crazy, and hope it helps. Cheers.